everybody. I'm Peter the Lesser, and he is Obi-Wan Mike Nobi.
You mean old Ben Mike Nobi?
I wonder if that is what I mean. Together we're Rebels, the podcast where we explore the Star Wars expanded universe through an episode-by-episode deep dive on the animated series Star Wars Rebels.
Today, our guests are... It's just Maddie and Savannah.
Hey.
So they're our lead-in.
They're our wives. They don't have websites. They're not promoting anything.
We're making them do this.
We just thought it'd be fun to have
breakfast though. So.
True.
We took them to breakfast, and we thought it'd be fun, a fun episode to have them on.
Yeah, so welcome. How's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for having us.
We know each other from our house.
These are the people who put up with our crap, like recording a podcast. So before we get started, please subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app and leave us a review on iTunes. It helps a ton. You can also find us on Instagram or Facebook at Rebels Pod, or email the show at rebelsrebelspod@gmail.com.
Oh man, are you ready to get started, Peter?
I'm ready. Maddie, are you ready?
Sure.
Savannah, are you ready?
Kinda.
Perfect.
That's 3.5 out of 4. That's good enough. So today's episode we are doing is Season 1, Episode 6, Out of the Darkness. While on a supply run, Hera and Sabine find themselves stranded, but not alone, in a seemingly abandoned location. It says locale, but I'd rather say location.
So the first scene, there is a little bit of a skirmish. The Phantom, which is their little attack ship, is being chased by a TIE fighter, but Hera outmaneuvers it and destroys that TIE fighter.
Yeah, I'm going to just jump ahead.
I would like to say that I like that they started the episode with a lot of action, get right in, and I'm totally sold on Hera. I love her. She's cool. She's tight.
Yeah, loved her.
See?
It was typical Star Wars, like right in with a bang. And yeah.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. See, Maddie likes Hera. That's why we're married. That's the literal reason why we're married.
You got married way before the show, knowing that.
Yep. Shares the Force.
Do you take Hera to be your Hera?
I just want to talk about how she destroys one of the TIE fighters.
Mm-hmm.
She shoots a cliff, and then the TIE fighters crash into each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was like, wait, what's the plan? They didn't say, like, I think that would have been cleaner if after that had happened, they would have been like, oh, that was lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was like, that wasn't part of your plan.
One of the things I thought about that is like, what if those were in like national monuments or something? Like, could you imagine if an airplane just flew through like the Rocky Mountains and blew up the top of one of the Rocky Mountains?
Eco-terrorism.
Yeah. Oh, man. So while evading those TIE fighters, the Phantom squeezes through a little bit of a canyon, and there is a little bit of damage. They scrape the underbelly. We know there's damage because even though the computer says everything's fine, Hera says, I know my ship. There's something wrong. Which I thought that was a cool touch.
Yeah.
I kept thinking that she was saying she knows her.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I totally thought that too.
Oh my God.
She
Like,
says
sit
it
down.
like,
I know my.
she
know
says
my
it
stuff.
twice in the
Got it.
episode, and I'm like, that's cool. She knows her.
Oh, I'm going to start saying that from now on.
I know my ship.
Like at work. Be like, are those TPS reports on the table? I'm like, hey, don't get off my back. I know my ship. I like that.
Also, while they were like flying, was it Ezra and Sabine are like all up in her business, and it's like she's trying to like outmaneuver a bunch of TIE fighters. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Like she knows what she's doing. Sit down. Let her take care of it. They're just whining.
Yeah, and also there's a pass when you're in space because there's no gravity within your ship, right? So spinning and moving around, like, but they're essentially in an atmosphere shouldn't they be like falling around?
Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that.
They're not in seatbelt. There's not in seatbelt.
Phantom?
If you're in a jet that's going that fast within an atmosphere, you're going to get jostled.
Huh.
I'm just going to say that's dangerous.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. This episode, we've brought up a concept before of Mom Hera, who's specific. It's a specific characteristic of Hera where she acts like the mom. And that's my favorite character in Rebels, not just Hera, Mom Hera. And this is like the most family dynamic-y of all the episodes. Like Sabine and Ezra and Zeb are the little kids, and Kanan and Hera are the parents, and Chopper's the drunk uncle.
Yeah, so are Kanan, since I don't watch this, are Kanan and Hera together? Because she calls him dear.
It's complicated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Their Facebook status is it's
I mean,
complicated.
the note I wrote down was, are Hera and Kanan together?
At this point of the show,
They freaking?
yeah, they making whoopee. At this point of the show, you don't really know.
Yeah, it's
6 episodes in.
they say dear and honey and things like that. It's
Yeah.
a very close relationship.
Yeah.
But nothing is set in stone quite yet. Mike, you read the book.
Yeah.
Is there anything romantic in the books?
No, because it's when they first meet, and there is like a spark of like, oh, they're
Rebellion?
interested in
Is this like a Luke and Lorelai type of scenario?
Oh my gosh, great reference.
That's what I'm sensing.
Yeah,
There's like a denial of
yeah.
that's a good way. I think it's a good way to put
totally.
it, probably. Actually,
Everyone okay?
We're fine, but I scraped the Phantom's underbelly.
You?
It was somewhat unavoidable. Once your plan went south.
Ah, there we go. Knew there had to be a way this was my fault.
And you were right, dear.
like
But there's an underlying.
you feel like it's inevitable and it's not happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna think of it. that way.
Something, yeah, like there's
a good way to think of
definitely,
it.
yeah, spark. Something's burning there.
I like that. Cool. So Sabine, they get out of that close call, and Sabine is not having it. She is questioning Hera on why this mission was so important, and Hera says the info was from Fulcrum, which is a name we have heard for the first time, and Fulcrum's intel is on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah, I hate that when she says, "I need to know." Like that is the most cliche response
Yeah, totally.
from that brat stall.
I was curious, I mean, they don't really say, but what was this mission? They say there's something about a convoy. What do you think they were trying to do with this mission?
Yeah, you never figure out what's in those crates.
What do you wish was in those crates?
I think it's an open-ended question.
Hot pants.
Just bootleg CDs. Just tons of bootleg CDs. They're just gonna go set up. They're just gonna go. They're just
Bootleg Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's awesome! This is like Spaceballs, where they watch Spaceballs. Just a bunch of Rebel seasons.
But okay, so also, who is Fulcrum? Like, will you guys tell us that, or is that not something that
We'll tell you off the air. Who do you
Yeah.
think Fulcrum is?
I'm hoping that it's like Princess Leia?
Because they say
I don't even know what time period we're in, so she might not even be alive.
Kanan
I don't know.
says he. We get a gender pronoun.
Oh, he does say he.
Mm-hmm.
He says he, but you hear
Hera does
Fulcrum's
too.
voice a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit warbled, so I don't know.
And
What do you
like
think?
gender's a construct anyway, so
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you have any guesses, Savannah?
I have absolutely zero guesses.
Perfect.
Yeah. Who else is in Star Wars? I only know.
I'm just gonna tell you the answer would. It's gonna underwhelm you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, got it.
So I might cut this out because it's weird, but have you ever noticed how sensual it is when the Phantom like slides into the ghost? It's
Yeah.
like
It's like
Very-
No.
what's
You're so gross.
no, it's like the ambiguously gay duo.
oh man, I
remember?
didn't even mean it like
Yeah,
that. I meant
was it?
like
Oh,
have you ever
got
like
it.
are oddly satisfying? It's a Reddit thread for oddly satisfying,
Yeah.
and it's like normal run of the day like mill things that are weirdly satisfying. Like
Oh, I was thinking of the.
yeah,
phallic-shaped
I know
car.
what you were thinking.
Got it.
Was it Ace and Gary? Ambiguously gay duo.
So they get back to the ghost, and Mom and Dad are bickering. I feel like this is another like sitcom-y family situation where it's like, somehow I knew this was my fault. Wah, wah.
This may be the
Yes,
most
dear.
Yeah.
This may be the most sitcom episode of like the whole season.
Totally. I'm gonna put a lot of laugh tracks underneath this.
This is the silliest episode in my mind.
And so Sabine goes on and on about Fulcrum. Who's Fulcrum? Who's feeding them this intel? What's going on? But the question that I'm more interested in is, what are Kanan and Hera drinking?
Yeah.
When they go into the cockpit and like all the kids are away and they're like, oh, we can finally relax, and they have like a hot cup of something.
I thought it looked delicious.
Well, there was no steam.
Oh,
I
man.
wanted it to be tea.
I thought, that's my first thought.
Like
Was
relaxing
like,
tea.
Oh, just tea.
So I know what it is. I was just
okay.
wondering what you thought. They are drinking Spearin calf, which is a specific type of calf. Do you guys want to know what calf is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Half calf.
So calf is a bitter brewed beverage that has stimulating properties because of the caffeine it contains.
Coffee.
So it's tea.
Red Bull. So just drinking some Red Bulls in a cup.
Yep.
Cool.
Those are their man cups.
So they like did a piece of information I found is that drinking the calf with Hera reminded Kanan of their time together on the moons of Ryan.
It's dumb.
Oh,
So how long have they known each other?
I've read that book. That doesn't happen in that book.
Oh, they don't drink coffee once in that book?
I mean, how many people in this room have read it?
Okay, fair point. How long? Yeah. Mike, can you answer that? How long have they known each other?
At this point, it's not that long. This is still pretty new. I'm maybe pulling this out of thin air, but I think it's been like 5 years. I'm going to look this up while we're talking.
Okay, cool. While you're looking it up, Kanan says something interesting to the kids where he says, it's Hera's job to find missions that create problems for the Empire and profit for us. If she trusts the contact, I trust the contact. No questions asked. Which I get that they don't, like, they have a trusting relationship, which is nice. But, like, why would they specifically want to cause trouble to the Empire while they're trying to make themselves rich? That sounds like, oh, I really want to rob this bank, but I also want to really piss off the police while I'm doing it.
Yeah. I feel like that's normal. I don't know.
that's part. Yeah. That's
Yeah, like
part
I feel like that's part of who they are, and like I don't know, you get to give a good old like screw you to the.
Maybe I just don't have the rebel spirit like you guys.
I
I was like, you
Like, that's
should
the
be more
point.
sneaky, be more careful.
That's the point. I like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
I mean,
You're gonna get in trouble.
No, like of course they're gonna get in trouble. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah, it's the ethical side of what's going on. It's like if they were just trying to make money, they wouldn't be rebels. They'd just be
Space pirates.
they'd just be space capitalists.
Yeah. They'd be Lando. Ugh.
Well, like
Sorry,
Yeah, no.
that was a little
No,
hard.
that's a good pull. Good one.
Yeah.
Did you find it, Mike?
Nope.
Cool. Let's say 5 years.
I'm just gonna keep looking.
Okay.
So, A New Dawn, the book, takes place in 11 BBY. And this is taking place, so you guys know, this is before the Battle of Yavin. So how
Yeah.
time is measured
Yeah.
is the turning...
Did you just guess that?
Yeah,
Talking to your mic.
I said it was before Yoda, and I was right.
No, not before Yoda. Not before Yoda. This,
Tell me I was
Before the
right.
Battle of Yavin.
BBY.
Oh my gosh.
So when the Death Star explodes in the first Star Wars movie, that essentially splits time in the calendar.
It's like BC.
That's the birth of
and
Christ.
AD.
So this is 11 years before that happened.
I like before Yoda better though.
Before Yoda. Well, Yoda was born like hundreds of years
No,
ago.
it's just
So just
before we meet
be-
Before
Yoda.
we know
Be
about
before
Yeah.
Yoda.
The whole galaxy is centered around when we meet Yoda.
back before Yoda.
No,
Yeah.
specifically when Maddie.
Yeah, when Maddie meets Yoda.
All right, so 11 BBY is when they meet, and this show is taking place probably in 5 BBY, so 6 years.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Nice. Not
Good pull.
Thank you. Not
Perfect.
interesting at all.
not
on.
anticlimactic at all. So Sabine comes in and chats with Mom a little bit. And she says because of her time at the Imperial Academy, she is done just following orders and not asking questions.
Yeah.
She does not like what is going on.
So 6 episodes in, I feel like our character, like Sabine as a character, hasn't earned that, like these moments. Like she will in seasons to come, but like to do this, like to interject a character point this soon in a show, I feel like it carries no weight.
This is a good question for you guys, actually. Since you don't have a lot of context, how do you feel about Sabine?
Sabine is me in high school.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Even
had
down
no
to the
right to have
haircut.
any of the complaints that I had, but I made them wholeheartedly.
Yeah, see, like I saw her, I was like, yeah, I get that, Sabine. I would want to know what's going on too. And I feel like they're like imposing this kind of militaristic viewpoint on them, like you only need to know what you need to know. And it's like, screw you. Like, tell us, if we're all putting our lives on the line, like tell us what we need to know. That's how I felt.
I mean, I like the rationale. Like, if you're captured though by the Empire, you actually won't know. And she's like, I could stand torture. I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it makes sense. The bigger question I was interested in is I do think it's pretty reasonable that she wants to know. But I remember specifically when this aired, everyone hated Sabine.
Oh yeah,
they hated Sabine more than they hated Ezra, and Ezra sucks in the
but
first
was
season.
that like boy nerds?
I think so. I think it's like what's the wife from Breaking Bad?
Oh, Skylar.
Skylar. It's like the Skylar syndrome. Like,
Okay, but Skylar was really actually horrible.
but you see, that's my point.
I don't think she just doesn't. I would do probably what she did.
She's like upset her husband's selling meth.
Yeah, there's like
and
sorry.
putting their family in danger.
But then it's like, oh, she's such a shrill woman. It's like,
yeah, it's just the way the show portrays
Totally.
her. Yeah.
And so Sabine's made a good turnaround. I think a lot of people really like her now, but in the first season, I think like she just had some valid complaints, and people were not into it.
More than that, I think her character you're presenting good material for like a character development, but to do it that soon, like, I don't know. I feel like there's no foundation for it to be on.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't feel earned for this specific
specific
thing. I think that's true. Because this is the first we've heard, right, that she was part of the Imperial Academy, and it's just kind of like a throw-in. Like,
but like, what does she have to do to earn that? She's putting her life on the line.
Well,
she's saying like, hey, I'm here to fight right next to you. Like, what do you have to do to earn to say like, hey, can you fill me in a little bit more?
Well, I don't think it's a question about having to earn it within the show. I'm talking more like outside the show, as like us as viewers.
Like how people write the character.
From a writing perspective, she's not earned it. None of these characters have earned those moments because it's been 6 episodes.
Got it.
So it's like there's like you need a motivation as a writer. It's like you can't just have a villain who's evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
Or she's just rebellious for rebellious sake. It's like I want to know. I want those moments to be earned because it's just coming off annoying.
Okay.
Yeah. So it turns out they have an upcoming mission with Fulcrum where they have to pick up some crates. And Sabine says, I'm tired of listening. I demand to go on this. And so I'm going with you and I'm not asking permission. So she's going on the mission. Before they can go on that mission, though, they have to run a diagnostic on the Phantom because remember, it scraped that canyon and they have to make sure it's all fixed. So Hera tasks Zeb and Chopper and Ezra for running the diagnostic and making sure everything is fixed. And hijinks ensue.
Not funny.
Hold it. We're not done here. The diagnostic's still running.
You can run a diagnostic on Chopper when I'm done with it.
And this is goofy.
These buffoons. Like, I don't understand how they're just kind of like, oh, well, sorry, I didn't fix it. Like, sentence them to death. Like, this is not okay.
Seems reasonable.
Zeb, I hate Zeb. Ezra's just annoying to me. I mean, droids are cute, so I like that droid, but...
I also liked, like, part of it was, like, they had to flush the life support system, and Chopper flushes this gas right in Ezra's face. And, like, What if it was just like
Poison.
super poison and he just suffocated Ezra?
I do like the shot of Ezra on top of Chopper and him spinning because it looks
Yeah.
like Toy Story. It looks like he's Woody. He's like so flimsy and
Totally.
it's a little silly. This episode's too silly for me.
Yeah. We'll get to our ratings at the end, but yeah, it's pretty silly. So it turns out because of said hijinks, there is a flashing red light on the diagnostic screen that nobody notices.
Did you translate that Arabish?
I did. I was like, oh, this will be really interesting, but it just has like warning.
Yeah.
There was not any interesting Orabesh in this episode.
All right. So we get to Fort Anaxis where they are going. So Sabine and Hera are going to Fort Anaxis to pick up this. I don't know, but just crates. They could just be empty
cargo.
crates for all we know. We have no idea.
More hot
And
pants.
the what?
More hot pants.
Yeah, just hot pants. And they get a transmission from Fulcrum telling them where to get the cargo, and Sabine interjects and like yells like, "I'm coming too."
Yeah. I like how Fulcrum just rolls with it. It's like, wait, is there an issue? It's like, oh, just, what is it?
Spectre
Spectre
5.
6?
Why are they all
Spectre
called
4.
Spectre? What is that?
It's their code name. So
Yeah.
their ship, it's a funny thematic thing that's pretty. It's like it's like they set up the theme party for their life.
Yeah.
So they call their ship the Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
They have a mini ship that attaches from the Ghost that you saw in the beginning called the Phantom. That's what they're taking down to the Fort Anaxis.
Yep.
And then their code names are Spectres. So Spectre 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Who's one? Is it Kanan?
Kanan is number 1.
Yeah.
I think Hera should.
Hera is number 2.
That's ridiculous.
Ezra's the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they call themselves like this like spectral theme because their ship is called the Ghost because it can like hide its signature and act like kind of like a ghost. So I like the idea that they themed their entire life over like their vehicle attribute. So like if I had a car that went real fast, I'd be like, okay, call me Speedy.
Well, it's like if you owned a Malibu and you're like, I'm
Flamingo. I'm
Flamingo.
Flamingo 1 and he's
This is
Flamingo 2.
Fedora. I'm
So
Tommy Bahama.
I think that one's used.
Yeah.
So some info about Fort Anaxis.
It looks like Crate.
Yeah.
I was always wondering if this is where they got the model design for Crate.
Possibly.
Because those huge front doors,
Yeah.
the
the
wide open
base.
space in front, I was like, and Crate was the place in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
If you guys.
The planet I don't think looks like that, but yeah, totally. I could see like the fort looks
design.
exactly like that.
Yeah.
The big doors.
I guess kind of Hoth did that first.
Hmm. So some interesting stuff about this is this fort is actually on an asteroid with atmosphere.
What?
It's asteroid PM 1203.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just an asteroid. It's an asteroid left over from a planet that shattered.
Okay. So if a planet shattered, how does atmosphere remain?
The atmosphere shattered too. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist either, but I feel like if a planet shatters, so goes the atmosphere. I don't know. That's weird to me.
I don't know. Does anyone
I don't know
how
anything about
atmosphere
science.
No, but like, so the asteroids that are floating around it are the shattered planet? What about like the actual place where they are?
Yeah, that's part of the shattered planet too.
Who knows?
How does a planet shatter too? Someone just drop it?
It got frozen and someone dropped it. I don't know.
I tried to look up information about that, but they said so. There's some backstory that was going to be used in the Clone Wars. That's actually kind of bananas. Like, you know, those explosive canisters that they use at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
The Separatists were mining that on the planet, and they were going to fill up a ship with those explosives and then ram it into a Republic building as like a giant suicide bomb thing. And then they ended up foiling that plan. But then for some reason, they just say a cataclysm that caused the planet to shatter.
So that's kind of the premise of the book, The Moon, and like that's what's going on in that book, A New Dawn.
Oh,
Moons
really?
of Rhinon.
That's
So,
interesting. So maybe
I
they
wonder
use some of that stuff.
I wonder if that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, they actually filmed in the Clone Wars stuff at Fort and Axis, but the episodes were never finished. I think you can watch them on YouTube, but like the animation's weird because there's like
It's like
big
unfinished.
swaths that they just never got to.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they land on there to pick up the stuff from Fulcrum, but Fulcrum is just not there. And Sabine doesn't like that.
So, where's the mystery man?
I don't know. Maybe Fulcrum didn't like your attitude. I know I didn't.
You do see her logo on the crate, though.
Yeah, so they end up like, all right, well, Fulcrum's not here, but they left the
Wait,
stuff on
you
there.
just said we see her logo.
Oh, no.
Is Fulcrum a her, maybe?
Gender's just a social concept.
It's like how the Millennium Falcon is a her. It's just like a concept.
It's they's logo.
Yep. So I don't know why this is like. So you're right. One of the crates has Fulcrum's logo on it, and Hera's like, "Oh, I'll get that one," and like
I know.
rushes and gets that one first. And it's like Sabine can't even handle the crate with Fulcrum's logo on it. That's how protective Hera is.
I don't know.
Well, maybe there's like a person in it.
Oh, maybe that's the cargo.
And so this is when they get into the conversation about why you can't know about Fulcrum. Is because if you don't actually know about her, you can't give up any information if you're captured. And they Hera makes the point of, we think the Empire can make anyone talk. Dark.
Yeah.
So has Hera ever spent any time with anyone from the Empire?
Well,
Because Sabine knows the Empire because she
Yeah.
was with them, right?
totally.
She was in academy, so she was like training with the Empire.
Yeah.
How did she get free? Can you guys? I mean, if we don't want to talk about this right now, that's fine. I'm just kind of curious, like, what's the backstory?
She chose to.
She deserted.
She's
she
pretty
saw
much a
like some
deserter.
stuff that she was not cool with, and so she bounced.
Yeah,
She's
she
like
like
Finn?
created kind of, but a little more noble. He kind of left in a cowardly way.
Yeah.
Like, because he was scared. She left because she had some ethical, like,
Yeah, you respect her decision a little bit more.
yeah, she was like, she helped kind of create something terrible that was going to destroy her people, and she had all this guilt about it. And
Yeah.
What did she create?
she created this crazy weapon that you end up seeing, I think, at the end of the season.
Not this season.
Oh,
it's,
no.
it's
What season is
it's
it?
a couple seasons later.
It's
I think it's
season
this
4.
current
It's
season.
in season
yeah, the one
4.
that they're in right
yeah.
now. So they end up fleshing out her backstory a lot, which is kind of interesting. She has all this like family legacy stuff that she ran away from and joined the Imperial Academy.
Yeah, she has an interesting story.
Yeah.
Just not at this point of the show.
All right. So to reassure Sabine, Hera says a little bit of a speech, and I just want to know how you feel about this. Does it pull on your heartstrings? Whatnot? She says, we need to have faith. There's a long-term plan, bigger than you and me, bigger than Lothal, bigger than the entire Outer Rim. Kanan knows what he's doing.
Boring.
I was like, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm alone on this.
Yeah. And also, I think it's interesting because this is the first we hear about like a more long-term plan, and a bigger plan that this is connected to more of the universe. And I think that's part of what Sabine's like issue is, which I don't really get the connection, but she's like, if I left the Imperial Academy for blah, 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 I need to know there's more than this. Like, okay.
Isn't there like, there's like a rebel army right at this point or no?
So not at this point. So that's
Or
what's
like people
interesting
can't
about
be
this.
open about it, or
Yeah.
like what is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
At
they don't
this
know how they're
point-
connected.
Yep. At this point in the story, there's some rebels like our crew, but there's no rebel
Like me
alliance.
and Savannah.
It's pretty much just
Yeah.
guerrilla warfare
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
And they don't know if they're connected to anything larger.
Oh, okay.
And so Fulcrum, I think, is
Tying it
the first
together
hint
a little
of
bit.
there's something bigger
Okay.
in the show. So some crates go missing. They load up the crates, and then we see that some have gone missing. And so they bust out their flashlights, which are always on them, and start walking in towards the fort. And Hera makes the I don't know, what does she say? She pretty much says that we're not dealing with a who, but a what.
Yeah. I like to think that they're actually sentient. They're just like they
Rhinos?
don't get time. Yeah, they don't get time to like to know them, but they're actually sentient, and they hear her go like, "We're not dealing with a who, but a what." And like in the background, she's like, "Hey, ow, that hurts my feelings." And that's why they're so mad. Like, they called us a what? Let's get them.
Well, if you think about it, I mean,
Let's all go say hi. That's why they were all scrambling.
right when one appears, it like growls, and the first thing they do is shoot it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what if they were like, "Hey, what's up? Welcome."
I know. I was like getting up behind them,
kill,
like,
kill, kill, kill.
welcome.
No. And what if they were just like, "Oh, you guys got to take these crates out of the sun. They're gonna spoil. We'll put them in the shade. Okay, we're gonna put them in the shade."
Yeah, they are. We find out they are afraid of the light, so they might just be like, "Oh my gosh, these crates, they're gonna burn up in the sun."
Oh man, how I Am Legend is this?
I was thinking that too.
Right?
I was totally thinking
Like
that.
the whole time. There's a couple movie things. And then actually right when they start shooting and they're holding the flashlights, there's this shot of the flashlight falling onto the ground. Does it remind anyone else of a movie?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. It is exactly that shot.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly the shot in Jurassic Park where they're
Yeah, and
down
then-
there
yeah,
and the
the
raptors are
flashlight goes
coming
out,
and the
totally.
flashlight falls and spins. It's like a shot by shot. It would be the most boring meme, but I want to put them together.
So it turns out that, first of all, I like that we see a LAAT, a LAT, which is like kind of like that weird plane thing that shoots mini Death Star lasers from the Clone Wars. Like that's the ship
yeah.
that's crashed in there that all the Phrynox are hanging around when
Yeah.
Hera looks is like, it's a what? So it's just kind of like a cool little Easter egg. But we find out that these creatures are called Phrynox, and the sun screws them up. So they're safe as long as they stay out of the shadows and as long as asteroids don't block the sun. Because as we said, they're in an asteroid field. So these big asteroids are blocking the sun. When it's shade out, they come and attack.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these creatures?
Yeah.
Let's take it.
Let's hear
take
you
the
guys
temperature
talk
of the
I
about
room.
thought they were kind of cute.
Yeah, they're not super scary, right?
No.
I thought they were scary.
Maddie was scared.
I was scared. I wrote like multiple. I wrote so scary. Scary monsters can't go in the light. And I wrote something else like too scary. I get scared really easily though.
I think I like them because they look like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
It's always like, they're cute.
Toothless.
Yeah, it looks like
that-
Toothless, yeah.
Yeah.
It got very horror movie with the music and everything.
Yeah, the
which I
music
love,
is
so.
super good. This show gets this first season. Like I want you to. I'm mostly making a pitch to Savannah. Here's why I want you to watch
Please
it.
watch it.
Please watch
Please,
this with
please.
me. It gets really dramatic and really serious after this season. I would say seasons 2 through 4 it's like watching a drama.
Yeah.
I mean, this season is like watching a kid show with hints of serious and dramatic notes, but that ratio really changes like pretty quickly.
Yeah, like I remember, Peter was saying that like there's episodes where like people die and stuff.
Yeah, there's
like
some
and
dark
it's
stuff.
like, man.
Yeah.
And the music, and there's some really beautiful shots, and the music is, I don't know, especially good. That's what happens when you have John Williams doing your music, though.
Yeah.
So sick.
Well, so John Williams doesn't do the music for this.
I mean, based on.
I forgot the dude's name, but yeah, he basically just copies John Williams' music, which is kind of like, I feel like that's a good gig if you got the talent for it. Like, you don't have to think of your own original stuff. You just
Yeah.
kind of like,
Changed
Yeah.
one note.
totally.
It's funny, you put this note in here, but I was also looking this up, that originally these Phrynox were going to be called knock fries.
Or like, it was like, I think it was pronounced like Knockfear.
Knockfears, which is basically Dave Filoni, the creator, trying to say night fears.
Yeah.
And they ended up changing it to Phrynox.
Yeah. They said they reversed the syllables. I don't really know what, like, I couldn't really decode it, like what they mean by reverse the syllables, but it just kind of looks like they did a word jumble and kind of just moved them around.
Which is very Star Wars.
But does it bug you that they're called Phrynox?
Yes, it
and
bugs me.
you already know what I'm
Yes.
going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
Okay, so
and
first of all, before I
it
even
makes
say
no
this,
sense.
why does that bug you, Savannah?
I just don't like it.
You just don't like it.
It sounds awful.
It does. So what you
So-
might not remember is in Empire Strikes Back, there's a creature called a Minoc.
Yeah.
Which it was Pablo Hidalgo confirmed they have no relationship other than the name sounding similar. And that's why it bugs me.
Yeah, that's why it bugs me too. I'm like, you were, I don't know. For anyone who's a Star Wars fan, you're making a connection, but you're saying that there's no connection.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, like, okay, but like lots of words sound the same and
Yeah,
don't
but, like-
mean the same thing. Like, that's okay, right? Like, I don't know, like rhinoplasty and like a rhinoceros. Well, I guess I guess those could be related.
But like,
a little
are there
bit, 'cause of the
animals
horn and stuff.
that sound the same but are completely
They're, like,
different?
just totally
Yes. Duck-billed platypus and a duck.
Okay.
Come on, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's like has a duck bill, but it's not duck bill.
I feel like it would be more like
Let's think.
it would be like if went like, hey, come over here and pet my dog, but watch out because we have wild bogs like, walking around, super dangerous bogs, but like cool dogs that are super cute.
Maybe it's like saying
Maybe.
koala bear and like panda bear. They're not in the same family.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're not bears.
Koala bear, panda bear. They end in the same thing. Knock and knock.
One's
Bear,
a bear. Yeah.
Maybe it's a pass.
Maybe. Okay, I like it now. Announcement. I like it now.
So the Phrynox attack, and they murder them all. They murder all these sentient beings.
Can I just say that the guns or whatever they use in this show are just so soothing compared to the ones that are normally used? Like, I was so relieved it was so quiet. I was like, yes.
Yeah, they're like pew pew pew.
This is what my dreams are.
Yeah.
It is kind of
Just
weird to
quiet.
me too that it's like they give like the girls like little lady guns. Like
Is
you
that what
notice?
it was? That what was
Oh, I
going
didn't
on?
even see
It's
the
like
difference.
Hera's gun is like a little tiny little cute blaster. It's like pew 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 pew.
Compared
But, like,
to whose? I
but
didn't.
like Zeb has like a big old rifle. It's like, like
Yeah, I don't
it's
like that.
things like that.
Which, like, I would trust Hera way more with a big weapon than Zeb.
Yeah.
I eat Doritos, but my wife eats Lady Doritos.
Yeah. Get your wife what she wants for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Lady Doritos.
I love the
I'll
premise.
eat any
I love the
Dorito.
premise of Lady Doritos. They don't crunch as loud.
Is that really
They're
the
not.
thing?
Yeah.
It's a thing. There's a bag meant to fit in your purse, and it doesn't have as much dust that comes off on your hands, so you don't have to
And
lick
they're
your
quieter
hands.
when you crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
They're getting a lot of crap for that.
Yeah, they should.
Thankfully.
That's stupid.
so they're safe because they're in the sun for now, and the ship is parked in the sun.
Yep.
But Sabine notices a big ol' asteroid, a big ass asteroid.
Just waiting.
Big asteroid.
And it's about to block out the sun for a very long time. So they run back to the ship and they're like, oh my gosh, we got to get out of here. But they notice they can't take off. I wonder why.
Oh boy, the boys.
Someone should have
Let's
checked
hear
the
it.
diagnostic screen because there is a fuel leak on the Phantom and they cannot go anywhere.
Let's hear it for the boys.
It's so ridiculous. I just feel like
I love how mad you are about this.
that's unacceptable. If you are in charge of fixing pretend this is like a plane that you're taking to LA and some guys forgot to like fill up the fuel.
Yeah.
No, thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like sentenced to death. Easy.
In their defense, someone was razzing them, so they had to like get into some good old fashioned brawling.
No. That's no defense.
I like it. I also love the next scene. We shoot back onto the Ghost where
Oh wait, before we get too deep into it, this might be my favorite Easter egg of the whole
wow.
series. Did you guys notice what Zeb is eating while he's like kicked back in his thing, listening to some really cool hip hop music? I don't know if you noticed that.
That's the scene I was going to go to. Love
yeah.
the music.
But did you notice what he was eating?
They look like Doritos.
Waffles?
Waffle fries.
He's eating space waffles.
Those are space waffles?
Yeah, and remember
Yeah,
in
on the shopping
episode
list.
3, Hera sends him on a shopping run with a shopping list, and if you translate the Orabesh, one of the things that they put on there is space waffles. So Zeb is eating the space waffles that he went and shopped for in episode 3.
Great.
Wow.
Nice.
It all ties together.
They're so careful.
Boring.
Yeah, and I want to know who do you think's playing this music? What band? What are those bands called?
Max Rebo Band?
No, there's a poster on their wall of a musician.
Cantina band?
Yeah,
That's the
those are like-
Cantina Band, Max Rebo Band. Oh no, wait, Max Rebo
Yeah, Max
Band
Rebo Band's
is
the Jedi band.
the Return of the Jedi Band.
You're
So
thinking
you're right.
of Phrygian Dan and the Module Nodes.
Good one.
It's the Cantina band. Love that band.
I don't remember. I'll look that up for another episode because I will spend plenty of time on the Ghost. But there are music posters hung up on the
Yeah.
But like one of them is like
A deep-
the music's very like kind of generic, like yeah, put in some cool young people hip hop.
Are you doing George Lucas right now?
Yeah. What are the young people like? I know I sold the show to Disney, but like, could you please add in some hip hop music to this part?
My son Jetster really likes the hip hop.
So Hera gets super mom Hera on them, and I love how Zeb just kind of melts. He's like being all tough, and he's like, all right, I'm taking you guys out because you're bugging me while I'm eating my space waffles. And then Hera calls, is like, did you run the diagnostic? He's like, oh my gosh. Like, Hera is the scariest part of the Rebels crew by far.
Go ahead, Spectre 2.
You did run a full diagnostic on the Phantom, correct?
Of course.
And you checked the results?
Spectre 2, there might be a small problem with the fuel line.
Small problem. Guys, we have a situation.
All right, so Zeb goes back to look at the diagnostic, and he finds out that they indeed did run it, but they did not read it.
Oh,
Like, come on. Come on.
So the fuel line is broken.
This is like so cheesy, such a good dad joke, but I love that they run to Kanan and he's like meditating and being all stoic, and it's like, hey, we have something to tell you. And he's like, Hera and Sabine are in trouble.
Should have checked.
I'll check you into the wall.
We have to tell Kanan, but don't tell him it's our fault.
Okay.
Kanan.
Hera and Sabine are in danger.
Wow, how could you tell? Could you sense it?
No. I could hear you two yelling outside the door.
Oh, Dad. Oh, shucks.
That's a good one. I've just realized how little of Kanan is in this episode.
Yeah,
Probably
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
This episode's all about girl power. That's why we had Maddie and Savannah on.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
I really think it was. Because
Yeah.
it was like you showing these two ladies that are smart and hardworking and problem solvers and working together and generally saving themselves, which was very cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is a bit of a Kanan comes in and saves the day moment, but
Would they have survived?
probably not.
Interesting.
We had that big Deus Machina moment at the end, which is, again, a Star Wars thing. Have just someone come in at the last moment and save everybody.
Yeah.
Cheap writing.
So their plan is they notice, they're like, okay, Kanan's on his way, but they're not going to get here in time for that asteroid to come block stuff out. So we need to figure out a plan.
And their plan is act like it's a video game.
Yeah.
Take out Phrynox in waves. Because when things attack you, they always come in waves.
They usually wait patiently.
They wait patiently.
You're in your
Okay,
next station.
Let the first group go. Okay, everyone hold.
I like that
next
there's,
group go.
because we've
Hold.
established they're sentient. I like the idea that there's like a hall monitor Phrynox with like a yellow vest. He's like, all right, wait. Group 2 up. Go.
Or it's like a Disney ride.
Oh,
All right, you guys get on? You guys get on?
He's doing the Disney point. There's like a specific point they teach you when you work at Disney.
2 fingers.
Yeah. So the plan is Sabine notices there's rhydonium hanging around. So that's that explosive thing I was mentioning before. A little bit on rhydonium is it is rocket ship fuel, and it is very poisonous and very explosive. So a little tidbit about it is that the ships at the Battle of Jakku were using rhydonium. So if you remember in Force Awakens, they're on Jakku, and there's all those crashed like Star Destroyers and stuff. That's because there's a giant battle above the planet, and all the ships crashed in the battle. And so all the sands on Jakku are poison because of this fuel leaking into the sand. So it's very dangerous for scavengers to live there.
So we're at the BP headquarters right now.
Ooh, political.
Why does everyone always want to go back to Jakku?
Is Jakku where Rey lives?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's where they found Rey. So it's pretty good she got off that planet, or else she would have space cancer.
She probably has like lymphoma brewing.
Probably why Unkar Plute was probably a human for a while.
Oh my gosh. Where's my ship? So
Unkar Plute.
because of this, they're shooting these barrels and exploding them every time a wave comes.
Nice.
And they're able to kind of like hold them off for a little bit until they run out of barrels.
Yeah.
I noticed before, like they're waiting. They're like, there's a fifth wave or a fourth wave, and they're like, oh, we didn't plan for a fifth wave. And before they do that, they're like, all right, they go back to back and hold their guns up like they're on a Bad Boys
Screenshot.
like poster with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And then Hera straight up goes, let's do it. And like, I wanted there to be like electric guitar. Yeah, I'll just light it up. Light it up. Like electric guitar. And then someone in the background just be like, yeah.
Yeah. I also am confused why Hera says, don't go inside the Phantom, go on top of it. Because I don't feel like those Phrynox could break into the Phantom. So it seems like a suicide
So she mentions
move.
that earlier, actually. She says that, like, judging from what they did to those crates, we're not going to be safe in the Phantom. So I think the idea is if they
but they scratched the crates.
Yeah, I don't know if
scratch
she's
marks
right
on the crates.
but she made a choice.
I don't like it. I would have, if it was me, I would have gone inside rather than on top of 100%.
Yeah.
Like if it can survive space,
It could some scratches.
yeah, I think it
it'd
would
be fine.
Those creatures don't look that vicious.
No.
So there's a really weird thing that we noticed while watching it, that they jump on top of the Phantom and a Phrynox jumps up and Hera like kicks it off, and then it cuts to them doing some witty banter of like, this looks grim, blah 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 blah. And then it cuts.
We're going to die. That's no secret.
Oh yeah, it's that part.
Weird line.
That's a weird line, first of all. But then they cut back to the exact same scene of Hera kicking a Phrynox off. They literally copied and pasted the same like 2 seconds right after each other. Yeah, I actually didn't notice it at all. Maddie picked that up when we were watching yesterday. It's wild. But that line did bug me because, first of all, like, I don't like when people say like, tell me something I don't know. Because no one ever said that to you in your entire life.
I feel like this entire episode was things like that.
Yeah,
it is. It's a cliche.
That's so true. Yeah, it was
It's
like
not well
cliche after
written.
cliche. Yeah.
And then also like Sabine says something about like, oh, this was earlier, but this is another bad scene where it's like, this looks grim, and she's like, I'll take grim right now. Like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean you'll take grim compared to what? And like, how does grim help you?
Maybe grim is a space food.
I'll take some grim.
I'll take some grim. Yeah, I'll take some grim right now.
Oh, are you buying?
Oh, cool, grim.
Yeah, I'll take some grip.
It's Space Gun. They call it grim.
I like that. So they're up on top, and then the full Star Wars theme comes in, which I don't remember any other time in the series. And do you think that this moment warrants the full?
No.
No.
Well, it does the full like.
No, I don't think the ship coming in warrants that.
Yeah, doesn't seem that dramatically
No.
satisfying.
That epic.
When I heard that song, I was like, "Oh my god, Luke Skywalker's here!" Oh, it's just them.
Ow. They just Ezra with his stupid slingshot.
Oh god. So the ship's coming in. They put like Ezra as point person to like hold off the Phrynox for some reason, but they don't give him a gun. He's using that stupid slingshot he has. How do you guys feel about that slingshot?
Yeah, what is it?
That's like his weapon. Like that.
Does it electrocute?
That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, does it electrocute?
What does it do? Because we don't know what the hell it does.
Or is it like a stun, like a taser kind of? That's how I saw it.
Kinda, but it doesn't even seem to really affect Phrynox.
Yeah.
We've seen it doesn't work on stormtroopers, and it doesn't work on Phrynox. What does it work on?
I think slingshots are great. I bought my nephew one for Christmas.
And I broke it within seconds.
I think they're classic, you know.
Just like classic.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Classic Dennis the Menace.
Oh.
Yeah, she bought our nephew a slingshot, and he's
Like
like
a wooden,
like a
old
wooden
school.
one. And I was
tight.
showing him how to use it. Literally, he had just unwrapped it on Christmas Day, and I was like, "Check out, this is what you do." And I pulled it back, and it broke. And I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oops."
gosh.
It's for 5-year-old pools, not like 33-year-old man.
32.
Oh.
It's very Bart Simpson. I like it.
We're gonna name this episode the episode where Mike ruins Christmas.
I don't know if it's effective, but it's cool.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to have one pro slingshotter on this entire podcast.
I like that Ezra says Carabast too, which is a curse word in Zeb, his native language.
Yeah. Which I don't think we've ever heard anyone but Zeb say it yet.
Carabast.
Oh, Carabast.
So,
I just hated that whole scene though, where Ezra's like, "Oh, they don't seem too scary," and then just fracks it up for everyone. Like, come on! Like, why do they keep giving him chances here? Create a little bit more structure for him because he's not succeeding.
Yeah.
Wait, is he Freddie Prinze Jr.?
No, Kanan's Freddie Prinze Jr.
Okay.
I wanted more. The most important.
I wanted more FPJ.
Exactly. When we first started watching, I was like, "Oh, his voice is sexy." I
know.
Remember
we addressed that on the podcast.
Zach Seiler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's all that forever.
I also like after they're done doing the rescue, like Zeb doesn't say like, "Oh, I'm glad you guys are safe. You guys are all right." He like grabs Ezra and goes, "Good moves out there, champ."
which is not good moves.
No, they were bad moves. And is that really who you should be like pulling up in this situation? Like, thanks for surviving that harrowing ordeal with your brains and ingenuity, Sabine and Hera. No, good moves out there, champ.
If someone had good moves, it was Sabine, because she was snipering people like Phrynox. Like, good moves, Sabine.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I really like how they're up safe in the Ghost and they're flying away, and Sabine like jumps in the rear turret and just keeps shooting at the Phrynox, even though they're safe, even though they're getting away. She's just like just shooting at them as they fly away.
She has PTSD for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice that 2 of the Phrynox they killed, when they shut the door on the Ghost, were still on the Ghost? So they have dead Phrynox on the Ghost right now.
That stressed me out.
I wonder if they're gonna dump those or eat those.
They are usually low on food, so
I don't know, but
I've heard Phrynox and space waffles are delicious.
They better.
Would they be like radioactive though after being shot with those things?
It's like
would you want to eat
Japan.
that? Yeah.
I also, speaking of bad dialogue and the Minox, is there's one like holding on, and what does Zev say? He's like, "No hitchhikers," and pushes it off. It's like, wow, they got some cool quips. Like, they had a lot of time to think about it while they weren't doing anything dangerous or useful. Yeah, sitting on the ship.
Yeah, I would not be able to say cool things like that in the moment.
Yeah,
I probably would have just yelled like,
"Ah! Get out of here!" No, I just run and leave you guys to die.
I'm trying to think what I would have yelled in that moment.
I would have yelled, "Kanan, save me! Kanan, save me! Oh my gosh, Kanan!"
Oh, mine's way more cool. I was going to say I would have yelled, "Eat butthole!"
Cool.
So they're back on the Ghost.
Thanks.
They're back on the Ghost, and Sabine and Hera are having some girl time.
Yeah.
And Hera asks Sabine to have faith in the rebellion and assures her that they do trust her. And Sabine's just kind of like, "Okay, cool, thanks."
Yeah.
So she's over her trust issues. Cool.
Yeah.
Take that, therapy.
Walk it off.
No, I actually like that she goes, "I'll try."
Yeah.
She doesn't say, she's not like totally sold on it. She's not like, "Okay, fine, like I trust you implicitly." Like, she's kind of saying like, "Okay, I'll try. Like, I see that you guys trust me."
On the other hand, though, do or do not, there is no try.
Okay.
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 All right.
Okay.
I don't know enough Star Wars to argue with you. So.
And then that's the end of the episode.
Nice.
Cool. So how we end each episode is we do a little bit of a grading scale. So we rank Star Wars on our least favorite thing in Star Wars to our favorite thing in Star Wars, and then we pick something in between. So Mike, would you like to demonstrate how this goes?
So the best thing and worst thing in Star Wars to me is that C-3PO was created by Anakin Skywalker.
Sad.
And the best thing is watching Luke stare into the binary sunset on Tatooine. Mm-hmm. It's just beautiful. And I give this episode a Rose kissing Finn on Crate in The Last Jedi, which to me were 2 characters who don't have a lot of chemistry together and didn't really earn a scene. And that's how I feel about Hera and Sabine. I don't really like their chemistry. I like that they got stuff done, but this episode actually may be my least favorite of this season. This is like a C- grade.
So I'm going to go and I'm going to say my favorite thing or my least favorite thing in Star Wars is Jar Jar Binks being farted on by an Eopie and going, peace.
It makes me laugh every time. It's so dumb.
And then my favorite thing is Luke and Vader's fight at the end of Return of the Jedi. And I am giving this episode Space Worm from Empire Strikes Back because it takes place on an asteroid. There's weird, freaky creatures, and it's my least favorite thing in Empire Strikes Back. And this is absolutely my least favorite episode in this season of Rebels. So I'm giving it like a D, maybe a D-. I don't like this episode very much.
Okay, I actually came up with Star Wars stuff.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay, so
you were going to do The Office.
I was going to do The Office, but so my favorite thing in Star Wars is Kylo Ren.
Just
in general,
or
just Adam Driver.
Okay.
With the high-waisted pants.
Yeah.
That's fair.
My least favorite thing is the pew pew noise being super loud in the beginning of every movie. I have a panic attack at the beginning of every single movie. And I would say on that scale, it would be Luke milking one of those weird cows on the island that he lived in.
It was great, right?
No, it was awful and disturbing. No, it was. I would give it a C. As a feminist, it had a soft spot for me, but
fair.
It wasn't great.
Cool.
Okay. And so my least favorite thing in Star Wars is just The Phantom Menace. The whole movie. I think it's an awful movie.
Can we tell people what you said about it after I made you watch it a couple weeks ago?
I don't even remember.
I think your exact quote was, "That was an abomination. I don't even think that was a real movie."
It is really bad. And then my favorite thing is Rey in Star Wars. I just think she's awesome. And I put kind of like my midpoint on my scale here is like Ewoks. And so I said this was like a little bit above Ewoks. Ewoks I feel very neutral on. So I would say
she threw a C in there.
Yeah, I would put it like a little bit above an Ewok.
So an Ewok plus.
Ewok plus, yeah. Okay. It was a fine 22 minutes of my life. Right. And fair. I like Hera. So, I don't know, I felt pretty good.
Cool.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for being on this podcast.
Thanks for being on Mansplaining Star Wars.
And I'll see you in a few minutes on the way to Trader Joe's.
What do you guys want to plug?
Yeah. What do you want to plug? What are you here to promote?
What's going on in your classroom?
I know. I'm here to plug Chabot Open House this Thursday night.
I'm here to plug
from 6:30 to 7:30.
I'm here to plug Please Be Quiet when I'm talking in class.
I'm here to plug Please Be Quiet all the time. Just whisper, please.
The world is too
and my
loud.
dog Arrow.
And have you seen her?
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Mike.
Yep.
There's not a lot of information about various rebel spies throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
But I got some.
Ooh.
And many Bothans died to bring us this information.
It's a quote.
You get it?
Yep.
You get it?
Yep.
We are talking about Fulcrum. There's actually not a lot of information about Fulcrum.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fulcrum is a spy. So why would there be a lot of information? Because Fulcrum would be a bad spy if there was. But I was interested to find out.
Do you know, I'm going to contest that because I know so much about James Bond. He's not really a spy.
Oh, yeah?
He's more like an agent, I guess. Those are books and books.
What's his middle name?
Danger?
So you don't know that much. Fulcrum, I was interested to learn, is not one person, but a title used by several rebel informants in the years leading up to the Battle of Yavin. The purpose of Fulcrum spies was to gather and distribute intelligence and recruit new members to the rebel cause. So because there was such a tight imperial crackdown on free speech and happiness and, you know, just talking to your buds, you had to be very sneaky about recruitment. So Fulcrums were supposed to keep their identities as secret as possible and usually used avatars and voice modulation during transmissions, which we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
The first Fulcrum established a spy network in partnership with Senator Bail Organa. Organa had already set up a ragtag secret intelligence network, which Fulcrum took over to establish better communication between rebel cells in different locations throughout the galaxy. Around 9 BBY, there were a number of Fulcrum agents that were using a special symbol to signify their allegiance. So we've seen this symbol in Rebels. It is what pops up on the hologram whenever Fulcrum is transmitting to the Ghost. But did you know we've also seen it a lot
in World of
Clone
Warcraft?
Wars.
Oh, got it. So, something from World of Warcraft.
I actually didn't know this, and now looking back at it, I feel very silly. But
yeah,
most people did not recognize the significance of the symbol, like me. But a rebel pilot named Miara Larte recognized the symbol because it's everywhere in the Clone Wars and was able to deduct the identity of the original Fulcrum from that symbol.
Yeah.
Don't spoil anything, but do you know where it comes from?
Mm-hmm.
So I got the picture.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking at a picture of the symbol and I'm looking at where it's from. Oh my gosh. So if you know who Fulcrum is, just look that up.
I don't know if I knew it before I knew who Fulcrum was, though.
Yeah.
Being honest. But like looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where.
Yeah, in retrospect, it was pretty sneaky, actually. I think it would have been very hard to put that 2 and 2 together without knowing who Fulcrum was or reading a specific book about Fulcrum because they discussed this. But it's so obvious now. We are all dummies.
Yeah.
Good job, Dave Filoni. You fooled me. So, although many Fulcrum agents are still identified, I was interested to find out that Cassian Andor, who is also known as Latin Han Solo, from Rogue One, served as a Fulcrum agent in the Albario sector a little bit before the events of Rogue One.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Cool.
That's all I got.
Well, thank you.
Rest in peace, Bothans.
Bathins. So, how do you feel about me doing a little deep dive, Peter?
I would love if you did that.
Okay. Well, I was going to do it anyways.
Just make it good or pay the price.
I don't get it, but I'm going to keep going.
I think it's a reference, but I don't know to what.
It's... What is that a reference
Get
to?
it right or pay the price. Oh, salute your shorts.
Oh, there it is. That's right. Salute your shorts.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, great show. All right. Well, anyways, today's deep dive is on Sabine Wren.
Yay!
So, Sabine Wren, the human, was born on the snowy planet of Crow Nest into Clan Wren. By the way, I love that the planet is Crow Nest with a K. That's tight. It's like corn with a K. Crow Nest with a K. Into Clan Wren of House Vizsla.
The Mandalorian planet is called Crow Nest?
Well, that's the planet.
Huh.
The planet, see, Crow Nest, like just like it sounds, one word, except it's with a K. It's a frigid world of snow and ice. It's the home of Clan Wren. Yeah, Mandalorians. Yeah, isn't that weird? So the planet she was born on too.
I guess I just assumed it would be like Mandaloria because that seems very Star Wars.
Crow Nest. Well, I think the Mandalorians are spread out. I think this is just one of them. I don't know if that...
Wait, there's only one Mandalorian?
Yes, just one. And he exploded and is everywhere now. No, well, anyways, and I also love that for the terrain, it says mountain, and climate, it just says cold. Thanks for the input.
Cool.
Anyways, that's the planet she was born on. Her mother, Ursa, was a member of Death Watch, which we will get into in later episodes, but it's a splinter group basically that opposed the peaceful Mandalorian government and became a part of Darth Maul's Shadow Collective, which successfully took control of Mandalore. I love all of that. I just love all those words.
It's just a cool name for a club.
Yeah, I know.
Shadow Collective.
Shadow Collective. Darth Maul's Shadow Collective. Tyler Perry's Shadow Collective. So she was trained from an early age in Mandalorian warrior culture. Ren forged her distinctive armor with her family, but also inherited her Night Owl's helmet, which is an elite unit within Death Watch. So it's like... So she did a lot of questing to get this armor. Nice. She also attended the Imperial Academy as an Imperial cadet. As a youth, she believed in the Empire and even put herself through some pretty rough training and followed orders blindly in pursuit of this. But during her time at the academy, as we know, she studied various things like tactics of the Twi'lek. Under the Twi'lek resistance leader Sham Syndulla and Mandalorian journeyman protector leader Fen Rho during the Clone Wars.
Wait, so did you just say she trained under Sham Syndulla? Mm-hmm. So she trained under...
Oh, no. Sorry,
Hera's dad?
I flubbed that. She studied the tactics of
okay, that
Sham
makes more
Syndulla.
sense.
Yeah, not under. I said under. Yeah. No. Please don't throw things at me, everyone. So this would eventually put her... So kind of learning all of this would put her at odds with some of the other things that she was learning in the Empire, which is weird that I feel like she must have studied this in her free time. Like this wasn't like, a class you could take at the Empire.
Well, judging from the episode we saw at Empire School, I think the only class they have is climbing out of wells. Yeah.
So this was some free time stuff. Just a lot of free time Wikipediaing.
Yeah.
They probably have Wikipedia. So, when she eventually she would leave the academy and the Empire for some reasons we're not going to get too deep into because there's whole episodes in season 4 about this, but basically she helped create this devastating weapon for the Empire called the Duchess. What it does, I'm not going to get too deep into because we'll get there. So she escapes, she leaves, and when she spoke up initially against the Empire after creating all this stuff, there was some kind of fallout for her family. Her mother, her father, and her brother ended up siding with the Empire and casting her out. Her father kind of became a hostage to Viceroy Gar Saxon, the Emperor's hand, and the kind of imperial puppet ruler of Mandalore at the time. And her mother was forced to prove her clan's loyalty to the Empire, while her brother was forced to serve in Saxon's imperial super commandos so that his family could remain in favor, because Sabine really put him in a rough position. Yeah. But anyways, when she was escaping from Mandalore, fun things I found out about her. She got a good amount of help from the Wookiees. And so she's always felt kind of a debt to them. As you know, she's kind of first and foremost a free-spirited artist. And
hippie.
Okay, good job. She's many things, as are many of these characters. Acrobatic warrior, saboteur. She's super good at explosives. She's like this artist. And she is, I like this thing where they call her a splicer. Instead of I'm thinking that's what they call hackers in this universe. They call them splicers.
Slicer?
Splicer.
Really?
Oh, slicer.
Oh, okay.
Slicer.
Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was a different thing.
No, so she's a slicer, which is sounds like a hacker, I guess. Pretty much. Something cool about her, she carries those 2 blasters. Those, I don't know if it's Weestar or Westar, but it's one word. 35 blaster pistols. Westar, or it's Westar. That makes more sense. I'm an idiot. They're Westar 35 blaster pistols. Well, because everywhere I'm finding them, they're all in caps.
Yeah.
So I don't
know. Things are pronounced 35. Weird in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
so
Weestar, I don't know. We see her. We find out she's fluent in a bunch of languages. We see that in the 3rd episode of this season, right? She speaks Galactic Basic, Mando, Amandoa. Sorry, not Man. It's not Mandalorian. It's Mandoa. Huttese, Rhodian, Aqualish, Binary, and some Shriwook. I'm guessing.
Wow.
Her encounter with the Wookiees. So she is quite the catch. She is adept at using Mandalorian VAM braces, which is like part of her equipment that come like equipped with repulsors, grappling lines, paralyzing darts, a shield emitter, a flamethrower, and of course her paired blaster barrels.
It's so sick. I feel like her costume was very weak in this season, so I'm really looking forward to seeing her with like the cool gauntlets and the
it gets cooler.
The rocket backpack.
Yeah. And all of her stuff definitely gets cooler.
Yeah, right now she's just wearing like dishwasher gloves.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But what's cool about her helmet and her armor and her jetpack is they can also operate in zero gravity space. Mm-hmm. Like what you would assume a stormtrooper should be able to do. Like she can do. So you'll see episodes where like they're just like Mandalorians are just like zooming through space.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And also, fun note, she developed a strong dislike for water from during an underwater mission gone wrong. That would and this note that I found was so dumb. Someone was saying that they think she also doesn't like water because it washes away her art.
What?
I don't know, but like that note was like, that's malarkey.
Well, it's important to hydrate, so don't listen to Sabine. She's a bad role model.
Yeah. She's voiced by actress Tia Sekar.
Yeah, she's on The Good Place, and she's really funny on that. I like her. Yeah.
So, like, great.
Yeah.
According to this StarWars.com blogger, James Burns, and he's like a big time blogger for StarWars.com. I've been reading a lot of his stuff, and he has some really interesting things to say. But he said Sabine's Wren's name was a reference to Sabine women from Roman history. And so like this legendary episode in Roman history influenced later Western literature and films like Vincent Benet's short story, The Sabine Women, in the 1950s musical Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which I thought was funny.
It's a lot of brides and brothers.
About 14. But Burns also confirmed that the Star Wars Rebels director Dave Filoni, and I'm going to stop here and say, I know I have said Fellini in the past, and I'm apologizing. I know Fellini is a famous Italian director. I'm not a flippin'
nerf herder.
Simple Jack. Okay. But yeah, so Dave Filoni and producer Simon Kinberg had named Sabine and the other protagonists after historical and biblical figures to give them a greater sense of purpose. And that's a little look at Sabine Wren.
Nice. Thanks.
Yeah, and there's a lot more about her as her character develops that we'll get to know.
Cool. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's also say thank you to our wives for putting up with our stuff and coming on the podcast with us.
Thank you.
I think they did a great job, and I'm very happy that they were involved.
I'm very proud. Very proud of my wife for spotting the Jurassic Park reference I wanted to make.
Yeah. I'm very proud of my wife for wanting to execute so many people.
Amen. Well, cool. Well, until next time, you know where to find us, guys. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Rebels Pod.
You can email us, rebelsrebelspod@gmail.com. And until next time, be brave out there. And don't look back. Don't look back.
Peace.
See ya.